G'day, going to see whether I can turn a $20 pork shoulder into something awesome. So this is just a supermarket bought actually from Aldi. It's 2.45 kilo and I'm going to put it on the new Traeger Ironwood. We're going to do a few things to it to try and make it awesome, and I'll let you know how we go. So this here is my new Traeger Ironwood. I got it a couple of months ago. I'm still practicing with it, trying to get to learn how to use it, but I'll show you how we fire the thing up. So in here we have a pellet hopper and full of wood pellets. And the starting procedure, we set the grill temperature. Now I'm going for 175 degrees. So it's a low and slow cook. Select that. Press and hold here to ignite. And it's pretty simple. So we'll come and check how that's going very shortly. Okay, just going to take this rack off, and we've got this sort of netting that's holding it all together. What I want to try and do is remove as much of this fat that's on it as I can, because when you're cooking low and slow, it's not going to get crispy. So we don't really want all that fat because it just doesn't do too much. So I'll get this off. It would be nice if you were doing a hot roast, that fat cap would score up really nicely. But for what we're doing, we'll tidy this up, get a lot of this fat off, and go. So I've got a big chunk of that fat cap off. I'm just going to clean up these edges now. Let's try and get all this excess fat off. Okay, I've got this pork shoulder cleaned up. Now, as this is a boned out shoulder, it gives us the opportunity to, we don't have to over season the outside, because we can get on both sides, and then I'll truss it right up, and we'll go from there. So I'm just going to wash these hands after just touching these meat, and we'll get on with the seasoning process. Okay, I'm using the Gospel as an all-purpose rub, and we can get both sides on it quite so it's going to stick. Okay, so I'm going to let that adhere somewhat, and I'm going to wrap it all up, and I've got one more step before we put it on the Traeger. So I've got this all tied up now. I'm no butcher, but it's certainly tied up and it's tighter. I've got the one last process. So what I'm going to do is I've got some cold pineapple juice. I'm going to mix some of this rub with it. There's no exact ratios. Looks about right. I'll put some of this other rub, which I'm also going to use later on, which is the honey hot hog. Put some of that in with it as well. And I'll mix this up. And as this is a piece of meat that the bone's already been taken out, there is a risk of losing moisture in it because it isn't all held together, it's been cut. So I'm going to put an injection into it. pull out a whole of this rub mixture. You can see how it's all plumping up. It's a squirter. Okay, I set the Traeger at 175 to preheat, so that just gets everything warm. Now I've wound the temperature back to 135, and I'm going to put the meat on. I'm going to put it right up on the top row here. And I've also got the meat probe into it, which should give us a good indication where we're up to. Probe straight into the slot, and we're going to set the temperature for 75 degrees, which is our next step in the cook. And now that will just do its thing. So this is the Traeger app. So it's connected to Wi-Fi, connected to the grill. So it's telling me there that the grill's at 136 degrees. So it sort of cycles as it goes through. So it won't stay on the exact temperature. It'll probably hover between like 125, 145, but it's all about averages. So at the moment it's pretty stable, and that's because we preheated it to 175 and then dropped the temperature back. So it's not just trying to, you know, heat the grill and keep everything at that one temperature. It was already preheated, and that's telling me the temperature of the probe. So it's currently 13 degrees inside the meat. It's been in for half an hour so far, and we're aiming for that 75 until our next phase of the cook itself. Okay, we're at the 2 hour mark of the cook. 130 degrees in the grill itself, and the probe's at 50, so I'll show you what it looks like. Just off camera, I put a little tray underneath just to catch anything. It's starting to dry out a little bit, so I'm just going to spray it. I've just got some pineapple juice here. Just to wet it, just ever so slightly, so it just doesn't dry out too much. So yeah, that's what it looks like now after 2 hours, 50 degrees internal, still got a bit to go. Okay, so it's been 5 hours 20 minutes, and I've got the notification that the probe goal is reached, and that's what she looks like. Pretty damn good. So now I'm just going to move into the next phase. So I'll unplug the probe and take this off, get inside and keep going. Okay, 5 hours 20 minutes in, and we've hit 75 degrees internal. So I'm going to go to the next phase. I'll take this probe out for a moment, and I'm going to get some of the honey hot hog. And get it over the outside. A bit more sweet heat over the top. Then I've got some brown sugar. And then some butter. That will melt down over the cook. And for the last part as well, a bit more pineapple juice just in the pan, just to give it a bit of moisture. Okay, so next part. If you want some good foil, use this foil from Costco. It's like, you can build a car out of it. It's so thick, but perfect for barbecue because it's tight, it doesn't rip. Absolutely sensational. So I'm going to find a thick part, put that back in, and back on the grill. Okay, back onto the grill, and plug the probe back in. I'm just going to set a new temperature. Our new temperature is going to be 95 degrees. Probably let it go a little bit over that, but I'll confirm that temperature. That's done. And this temperature, I'm just going to turn it up slightly to about 145. Okay, we've reached final temperature. So I'm going to go and take this off and we'll go inside and have a look. Okay. It's looking pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is drain off some of this liquid. And I'm just going to let this rest and cool for a period before we pull it. And I'm going to separate the fat to make a bit of a sauce out of this. So I reckon half an hour. It's been cooking for about 8 hours. So it should pull apart quite nicely. Okay, final step. It's been resting for about half an hour. See how it pulls. Oh. Just pulls amazingly. I hope the video does it justice, but this is just pulling crazy. Nice bark on it. You can see you can probably pick up some of the bark that comes off it. Look at that, just pulls apart. Just amazing. So, I'm just going to finish shredding some of this, all shredded up. And I think before I do the last step, I might just try a little bit just to see how it goes. Nice little bit of bark. Oh, that's amazing. Get good smoke, good bit of sweetness from the rub. Sensational. So the dew that came out of it, now I don't have a fat separator, so what I'm going to do is, as you can see, that the fat's moved to the top, so I'm going to use this syringe to take some of that goodness from the bottom without taking the fat, and that's all just flavour from the meat. Now you could put a barbecue sauce through it. We're going to have sliders with some coleslaw. So yeah, you could put some barbecue sauce in this, but I'm not. You can put some barbecue sauce on some slider buns if you wanted to. So I'm just using this just to really sauce the pulled pork up, but I haven't taken any fat out yet. This is just the the juice. And I'm getting pretty close to the end now. Keep shredding this all through that sauce. And you can see how juicy and absolutely amazing. So I think the question is, can you turn a $20 Aldi piece of meat into something awesome? Totally. Yeah, you can. Give it a crack. Certainly the Traeger helps, but you can do it on anything. Just cook it low and slow. Spend the time preparing the meat.